Won't you sing to me, baby? Won't you pray for me, baby? Can't you see I need some saving? Won't you save me?
Any friends I have left at this point in my life understand that I go through phases where I don't want to see or talk to anyone. I just want to pretend I don't exist. And let me tell you, those are my people.
What's up, everyone? It's Books&Looks TV. So today I am going to be talking about like friendships in the 30s and why some people say it's hard to keep friendships. I'm going to be talking about like a general observation I've noticed and some of my personal experiences as an introvert, and also as someone who grew up in the 90s, who was surrounded by like friendship, communal living, family, etc., and just how like just trends and different things I've seen that has impacted like Black female friendship, also known as sisterhood. So I grew up in the 90s, and growing up, like being what people call a girl's was important. Not only were you like socialized to understand femininity, but you were expected to be pretty, smart, clever, etc. You're expected to be a well-rounded person. Often we would see like girl groups on television and they promoted friendship. We went outside more. There was this overall like human interaction with each other. Growing up, I noticed that me being like a quiet person, an introverted person, people always expected differently from me. There's always been like quiet, introverted Black girls or Black people. It's just kind of like someone wanted to see how they could test me, how they could see what triggered me. And even to this day, like people always say how calm I am. Like even in some of my videos, people say, oh, you have a calming voice. So I think I've been through so much that it just requires me to learn how to balance my like stressors, etc. And I just really think that's just been always my personality as a child. There was a time like when I was younger, growing up, and I guess you could say the hood, I just had to eventually fight. And that's because people will bully you, or like people will just constantly bother you. I love reading. I love different things. And of course, there were other people who love that. But when you're quiet, you stand out. It's just like people think you weak. Even though I didn't like go around trying to fight everybody, like I did have to fight sometimes. When you learn how to fight, it is what it is. Some people respect you, whatever. I just noticed in general, like just being friends with girls, it was always so political. And I do think there's like gives and takes when it comes to friendships. But like one thing that always bothered me is how there's like this secret, or like, how can I say it? Okay, so there's this thing where people say, whatever I'm going to say behind your back, I'm going to say to your face. But I think that there's a difference between acknowledging something and just being vile about it. And I feel like oftentimes with girls, it's like who can be the meanest, who can hurt someone the most. Or like there's this phrase where I wasn't being disrespectful, I was just being honest. And I think that a lot of times women, girls, they get so much thrown at them internally that they just take it out on each other. And I never liked that about like girl groups. I'm not even someone who hates like girl groups or friendship. I'm just saying that the older you get, you just kind of wean off of it. So like I've had a lot of friendships where there's always like featureism involved, where someone would attack another woman, or it was just like something centered around beauty and men. And I think that when friendship is centered around that, or like success, notoriety, instead of just genuinely being happy for one another, it just makes you want to be like, I don't really care about having friends. And not that, again, I don't like female friendship, because I do. Like, I'm one of those women who I appreciate being around women, the energy that women bring. Often I have had more neutral friendship with men. It's not like a competitiveness. And there have been men, unfortunately, who have tried to like wait for me to be vulnerable and sleep with me, etc. So that's one huge reason I don't care for men. But again, as time goes on, you just learn that unlike when you're a child and you're kind of forced to be in social groups, as an adult, you kind of have more autonomy over your life. And so you can kind of pick and choose where you belong, where you're headed. So whether you want to be friends with your neighbors, whether you want to just go to certain places and socialize, it becomes what it is. There are certain people that I learned to value, but again, we just went different places in life. Whether it was me going out of town for college and them choosing to stay in my hometown and do what they did, or if it was just like, people just having different lives. Like a lot of women had kids at a young age. And by the time I had a child with children, I was 30. I just turned 30, I believe. And some people, their kids was teenagers. So it's just like decisions sometimes can cause wedges. And even if you don't judge someone else's decisions, there are people judging their own decisions. Like there's some people who say, oh, I could have went to college or, don't have kids, but now I have the children and they're just like, yeah, I remember that was long ago. And it's kind of like, I'm happy you have children, but we kind of just don't have anything to talk about because our lives are so centered around whether it be kids, families, or careers. You have to be really intentional and you have to have some kind of common interest and just time in general to want to make friendship work. I personally don't like friendship that centers around heartbreak. And when I say that, I feel like some women, they only come around when a man has broken their heart. And I try to be really careful about how I communicate with women based on what I'm going through in my relationship, because I feel like that's not genuine. So I want to always be available for my friends, but I never like friendships that are one-sided. So whether it's a man, financial or emotional gain, I just think that there should be healthy boundaries in relationships. I can say that when it comes to even friendship where I live in the South or getting to know someone, it's very based on status. So I remember when I got married, again, I still wanted to be friends with other girls, that were single, married. It didn't matter to me. But because I was married, I felt that people pushed away from me. And it was just weird because I always used to hear people say women in relationships, women in marriages, they don't know how to be friends with women. But I feel like sometimes single women, maybe they feel like they have to live their life a certain way, or I don't know, maybe they feel out of place. I don't know. But I just noticed there were some girls who I was really close to, but after I got married, they didn't want to be around me. I think, again, people just find a difference or a reason not to want to make a friendship work, and that's fine. But it's weird too because you can be in some social groups and women will only talk to women who are married. And there are some women who will only befriend you if you have children. I remember when I first started working, there was different events and people appreciated that I was married, but I didn't have kids. So they wouldn't invite me to places, and it's okay. But I think just, again, as you evolve, life gets really challenging, etc. I think overall that competitive nature with being a woman sometimes hinder things. I just thought it was weird, how even when I had kids, people would imply that I didn't have help with my children. I'm like, they have a father. Why wouldn't they have help? Why would their father take care of them or help me take care of them? So again, it's always this projection of trauma that I feel like women bring to friendship spaces. And it's really horrible. And I remember being with a group of women for it was a holiday. I think it was a Super Bowl party. And there was this woman, I think she was really sweet, actually. She was an activist, just very cool. And you could tell she had a compassion to be there for sisterhood and just for Black people, whatever. And, she just letting me know how she's always there for Black women and she wants a tribe. And I remember this other woman who I really like. I thought she was funny. She was cool. And she said, I'm going to be there for Black women, but I'm not extending myself to the point where I have nothing for myself. And I think that's just important overall in any type of relationship. You can love the idea of love, whether it be friendship, whether it be intimacy, but if you don't have anything to pour into yourself, what's the point at the end of the day? And
let's talk about the 3 solid rules of friendship. Number 1, if you're my friend, I should not be hearing my problems through somebody else. If you have a problem with me, talk to me and not anybody else. Number 2, it's okay to vent a little, but don't dump all of your problems on your friend. If you feel like you're at the point where you honestly need to seek some professional help, seek the professional help. Remember, your friend has energy just like you. Don't drain their energy. And number 3, remember that your friend is your friend, okay? Don't just go to your friend to hit them up when you need to borrow something, when you need something from them. Hit your friend up all the time and check on them. At least if it's just like, once a month or something, check on your friend. Anyways, if y'all like this content, make sure to give me a follow, a like, and yeah.
I saw a TikTok that said that you can tell a lot about a person by the way they interact with quiet people. So with that being said, I want to give y'all a little peek into my life as a quiet, introverted Black woman. I used to get oh, she thinks she's too good. She's stuck up. In high school, a teacher actually told me to my face, you need to find a personality before you think you can do X, Y, and Z. Just unprovoked. I used to get oh, I thought you were so mean at first. You were so intimidating. I even had to quit a job because a manager said that I wasn't as loud and extroverted as he expected me to be. AKA, I wasn't like the last Black girl they hired. Like all of this projection just because I sit there and mind my own business. That's crazy.
Not all friendships last forever. Shh, it's a secret. These are 3 things nobody tells you about losing friendships and moving on and severing ties with relationships that no longer serve you in a positive way. All right, number 1, nobody tells you that you're going to probably miss that person. I think today's society, we make it seem like, oh, you just got to move on, be a bad bitch, and keep it pushing. Like, no, you're going to miss your friend. You're going to want to call your friend. You're going to miss all the good times that you had with your friend, okay? And you're going to have to figure out a way to work through that. You're going to be lonely sometimes, okay? That's number 2, you're going to be lonely. And especially if you've cleaned house on a large group of people in your life, okay? You're going to be lonely. So it's kind of like a breakup with a significant other. You have to find a way to be able to be by yourself and be confident being alone. Of course, you might have a partner, a husband, a wife, like whatever. But friendships hit just a little bit different. So number 1, you're going to miss them. Number 2, you're going to be lonely. And number 3 thing that people don't tell you about when you lose a relationship is sometimes those relationships can be reconciled, and it's okay to reconcile them if both parties feel that it's something that you both want. If it's a friendship that you both want to salvage, don't listen to all the outside noise. I feel like we get into a pattern of listening to what other people think and worrying about what other people are going to say to you about maybe potentially becoming friends with a particular person again. It's really not anybody's business. So if you and that person feel like it's necessary to reconcile your friendship, do it. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. But yeah, I just feel like these days we are kind of cold in the way that we think about having to deal with these relationships and maneuver them. Some friendships last longer than marriages these days, and it's really hard when you lose a friend. And I think that we just need to be more supportive of each other. Maybe you're the friend of the person who's lost some friends. Sometimes it's like okay to just be like, you know what, I know that you're going to miss this person and I'm sorry this happened, but things are, better things are on the horizon or something. But don't ever just be like, well, fuck that bitch anyway and she wasn't shit. That, we don't want to hear that. Just acknowledge that, hey, we're sad and we're lonely, we miss that person, and it's okay. Friendships, I want to say that they come and go, but they don't. Sometimes you find really great people in your life that are worth fighting for and worth the struggle. Not everybody's worth that though. Just figure out who it is.
All right, ladies. We are not ever in this life, in the next life, in your past life, forcing friendship. You don't want to be friends with anyone that doesn't want to be friends with you. You value yourself, you respect yourself, and you are not desperate for anybody's friendship. I don't care how cool they seem or what circles they run in. If someone shows you how much they value you and it doesn't align with how much you value yourself, you need to take several seats and fall all the way back, so far back out of this person's life. Stop texting them, stop reaching out to them, stop responding to their Instagram stories. Leave them alone. You are not desperate for anyone's friendship.
I started off this year super lonely, and I've tried the friendship apps. I've tried Bumble BFF. I tried this other app called Vina. I guess it's an app that people don't know that much about, but I tried that. And I even tried to make friends through Tinder. Yeah. And obviously none of those actually worked for me. And outside of the organization that I started for Black women to make friends, I realized that there are things that I could do to make making friends as an adult a little bit easier. Number one is try to meet up in person as soon as possible. Part of what makes making friends as an adult so hard is that people are set into a routine, whether it's because they have kids, school, graduate school, whatever it is. People do the same things every day for the most part. And I saw somebody say that you have to be thirsty to make friends as an adult, and in a way, yeah, that's true. You have to be able to show mutual interest without feeling embarrassed or being afraid of annoying the other person. Number two, I would say be open. And when I say be open, I mean be prepared to understand that this person is a whole other person than you. This is not somebody that you spent your formative years with, right? You didn't go to middle and high school or in college with this person. A lot of adults do not get the opportunity to actually interact and connect with people that are fundamentally different than us, right? Because we go to work every day and we're not really close to our coworkers. At least most of us aren't, or you wouldn't be looking for friends. I could really make a part 2 to this because there's just so much more to say, but I'm gonna leave you guys with my last point. Be prepared to have uncomfortable conversations. I tell the ladies in my organization this all the time. If you care about the potential friendship that you have with somebody, it's worth giving them the grace and understanding to explain if they did something to hurt you or just rub you the wrong way. And it's bound to happen when you're meeting new people, right? Like, y'all are just different people. I feel like in this day and age, we're so quick to just cut people off or, chalk it up to, oh, they don't like me or they're weird. In reality, people just think differently sometimes. I think the average adult doesn't really understand, me included until recently, doesn't understand how to speak non-violently or without an accusatory tone. And because of that, confrontations that really could be simple and an opportunity for you guys to understand each other better and know what each other needs as friends better, it turns into an argument and people just split ways. You really have to look at making new friends as something as time-consuming, precious, and delicate as dating and looking for a relationship romantically, because friendships are a relationship, and arguably a more important one that can last you a lot longer. So that's just my 2 cents.
How about being tone policed even when silent? My silence also is an attitude. Bruh, I cannot even tell y'all how many times I got this from so many supervisors, especially while I was in grad school. Like, oh, Shonda, you're too quiet. You're not engaging with the other students. You're not talkative enough. Like, what do y'all want me to do? Freestyle? I'm not about to sit here and talk when I have nothing to say. But then I was reading an article about this and it made so much sense. It's called Black Women Aren't Allowed to Be Introverted. I need y'all to look this up. The author's name is Sequoia Holmes, but listen to this one part. She said, as a self-identified introverted Black woman navigating mostly white spaces, I often find that my peers and coworkers have preconceived assumptions about who I am based on Black womanhood. When I fail to live up to the funny, entertaining, sassy Black woman stereotype, they're quick to assume my failure to entertain is because I don't like them. When I tell y'all, everything literally can be traced back to racism.
You want to know if that person is your friend? Don't worry about it. You ain't got to have no elaborate birthday dinners. You ain't got to go out of the country. You ain't got to do whatever for your birthday. Tell them good news. Tell them something has happened for you that you waited on for years, or that has manifested, or that God has brought you through, or that something good that has happened for you that you're ready to share with them after it has fulfilled, and watch their faces and watch who claps for you. Because oftentimes, 9 times out of 10, it is not the person that you consider a friend. It's always the person that's not your friend that's always the loudest and that's cheering for you, that has always been there for you. Okay. I remember one time I told my friend some really good news, and the look on her face was in like a jealousy, of disgust. She was not happy for me. She was like, and that right here gonna let you know everything you need to know. It's not your friend. They've been preying on your downfall. They don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to see you happy, but that's okay. Okay, because that's that moment that you're supposed to tell them that for a reason. So you ain't even got to do that. And sometimes it's usually the people that's not your friend that's going to be cheering for you and clapping for you and screaming the loudest for you it's never typically your friends when you have good news or you have something to share. Okay, so that's how you know they're not your friend. Listen to what they say, watch their actions, because I'm telling you, you will feel the animosity. You will feel it in your chest. You know when somebody's jealous of you. I ain't even got to tell you. You already know. And if you got a question if they're jealous of you, they are. But this is the thing: what's for me and what's meant for me will always be for me. Okay, and that person, no matter how they try to take it and spin it and add that little flavor and sprinkle on it, baby, it'll never be yours. It will never be theirs. You get what I'm saying? So I don't even understand why people try to be so jealous hearted and just so ill, you know what I'm saying, about their friends. When you're my friend and something good happens for you, I'm jumping up and down. I'm excited with you. I've been praying with you. I've been standing in agreement with you. I've been happy. I've been waiting for you to get that thing that you really want, because you deserve that. And I know that's something that you wanted. So I don't understand when people have jealousy around them, because it's just crazy.
All right, so a little friendship advice from a therapist. Simply put, history cannot trump respect. I was telling one of my homegirls about a situation I had with a friend that I had been in, like, thick as thieves with for 17 years. And, after we were talking, she was like, no, but that's your sister. You've known each other for so long. And I'm like, and she still disrespected me. My whole thing is, people love to throw history in your face as though history on its own is enough to substantiate why you should be in a relationship of any sort with somebody. Let's be clear. If I had a sister and she was disrespectful, I would disown her. Let's be clear. I do have a sister and she was disrespectful and I did disown her. I'm not about to play with my boundaries, and neither should you. It's simply not enough to be like, oh, but we've been friends since we were yay high. Yeah, and I've had it up to yay high with the disrespect, and that's it. If you're someone that I call a sister, if you're someone I call a ride or die, if you're someone I call a bestie for the resties, all this other shit, there's no reason for you to be like mistreat me. There's no justifying it. It doesn't matter how long we've known each other. That should be reason enough for you to respect me. It may be very difficult, especially if you've had a history of people pleasing, if you've had self-deprecating thoughts about yourself where you didn't think you were a good person. You may even feel like you need to put up with what you're experiencing when a friend disrespects you, but you don't. I finally got into a place where I was tired of being understanding, because truly I was being empathetic without having boundaries. I was being understanding, yet I wasn't being respectful towards myself. And I'm done with that. So if you are processing the end of a friendship and a lot of disrespect was involved, please be mindful that who a person is will always show up at the end of the day. Does not matter how long you've known a person, and if you didn't know them to ever be like that, trust what you see. Please be mindful that the treatment you accept from others says a lot about how you see yourself. Personally speaking, I have done so much that I'm proud of, and I'm so intentional on making sure I meet others with love and respect. The last thing I will ever do is tolerate disrespect. I don't care how long I've known you.
People that don't have friends aren't weird.
I have a request. Can we please leave this conversation in 2023? Because let's be honest.
Hey, my good sis, blessings to you, and your request has been granted. We are definitely leaving this conversation in 2023, and I can only speak from my perspective as a person that went from having a lot of friends to now having like maybe one or two good friends. You ain't missing out on nothing. And people don't necessarily have to be jealous of what you possess as far as money, clothes, cars, jobs, whatever, houses, apartments. They don't necessarily have to be jealous of what you have, but spiritually on what you have, if that makes sense. And a lot of these people out here are lost as hell. They don't love themselves. They don't even know themselves. They're not doing the work that it takes to be a healed person. So when they see a bright light, walking through and thriving and prospering and doing things that, God has bestowed upon them to do, people do not like that. And it's sad to say, like, in your winning season, you will definitely see people choose colors. Like, it will baffle you that you be like, wait a minute, I've known you for like umpteen years. Why are you treating me like that? Like, why? And as much as you probably even poured into people, because I've been in, friendships where I constantly having to pour in and give to them, motivate them, and
it's not giving back. Like, I'm kind of left a little empty, because now it's like I'm looking for you to now motivate me, pour into me. But people who don't know who they are or know where they're going can't motivate nobody. They can't give you nothing if they don't know what they're doing or where they're going. You know, so also too, with having friendships, you want to have somebody that is equally yoked with you, that is on the same platform or on the same level or having the same hustle as you, because then it just becomes a thing where you're just giving and you're not receiving anything. So I would say now, in this introverted season that I'm in, this isolation season, I'm enjoying it. I'm glad that I am the type of person that I listen to God, and when He physically removed people, I listen. I think I even did a video too about a friendship of mine that, she was just acting a little weird a little bit. And then, I was like, well, what should I do? And I did. I reached out, and that's it. We're not going to continue to force people that God is physically removing from our lives. So, and one thing about me, I'm really kind. I really don't like to, I hold on to people. I don't want to just leave you out there like that. But once you ain't pouring into me, and once you show me that, this ain't where you want to be, all hands is up. I'm letting it go. That's it. And I am okay with that. So some days it is just me and going, well, I'm like, yo, what's up? And that's okay. It is, trust me, don't let social media fool you, because people, you see all of these girls out here with all these friends, and they traveling, they doing this. People are traveling by themselves too. Trust me, I've done it before too. I celebrated my birthday in the whole country by myself. It is okay. And why? Because everybody is not on the same timing as you. And you have to know that when you possess something that is greater than the people that are around you, that the people around you don't even understand, trust me, the relationship is going to just dwindle itself out, and you're just going to be like, what? Or they may try to do something where they want to bring you down to their level. And I've had some friendships people that I considered friends try to do that to me. So in this season, I'm really okay with having my one or two friends and enjoying and keeping it at that. I'm not looking, to seek new friends. And I'm a people's person. I always meet people, and I'm always like a good vibe, a good energy, because that's me, right? That I feel like I'm okay to do that. But I had to learn to protect that part of me too, because when you walk into a room and you can actually grab the energy of the room, you literally change it when you walk in. People do not like that. Unhealed people don't like that. Especially envious women. They don't like that. And they will do all they can to make sure that you don't feel like that again. So be careful and enjoy that season that you're in of just, being with yourself. It is okay. You don't need 1,000 friends. If you have one or two, or is it just your family, or if it's just you and your man, hell, you and your dog, your cat, your hamster, whatever, enjoy it and be okay in that. And I always have like this saying, like, I never missed a dollar that wasn't for me. So you ain't missing nothing out there. What's for you will always come to you.
I'm choosing to remain friendship free, and it doesn't mean that I'm not going to be friendly. It also doesn't mean that I'm not willing to maybe go out, maybe for lunch or something, or if you need me as a reference for a job, I'm your girl. But as far as a deep connected friendship, I can't do it. It doesn't serve a purpose for me. It takes up too much of my time to constantly talk to someone on the phone, texting all day. I just can't do it. As an introvert, I know my social limitations. I know when my social battery is running low, and I'm very in tune with that. And I'm also a very sensitive person, so having a friendship requires that you're less sensitive. So it doesn't really serve a purpose for me. Also, a lot of people want to have conversations that are very on the surface, very low level. I am a very deep thinker. I love serious conversations.
If you're around me, you have to know you're the baddest in the world.
One of the easiest ways to tell if your friend is your friend and can be your friend long term is how confident they are. I'm not talking about that superficial confidence that comes and goes depending on your weight and boys and your job and shit like that. I'm talking about that internal, God-given confidence where you've worked on yourself and you love yourself from the inside out. Unfortunately, I've been through many of friends who were not my real friends, and I've had girls that I've been cool with for 20 plus years, 15 plus years, 10 plus years. And the friends that I've had least conflict with, most love with, the best laughter with are the friends that love themselves unapologetically. They could be standing next to a Victoria's Secret model. They could be standing next to Rihanna. They could be standing next to the baddest or the most beautiful women in the world, and they would still radiate their own beauty. You know what I'm talking about. And look, I'm from Miami. I've had friends that I've modeled with. I've done pageantry. I've done music videos. These women are gorgeous, but them inside, ugly. So if you want a long-term friendship that is going to sustain the test of time, someone that's going to love you, make sure this girl loves themselves. Now, ways where you can detect where they stand. Number one, do they like or comment on your social media posts? And if they do, is it some short shit or is it heartfelt? You know, a little happiness. Number two, let's say you change your hair or you're wearing a nice outfit or you guys are going out. Do they hesitate to compliment you? Do they ever compliment you? If they compliment you, does it feel like they're pulling out a fucking tooth to do so? Do they spend a lot of time complaining about their own looks to you? Or do they work on them? Do they almost beg for a compliment from you because they want you to pour into them, but they can't pour into you? If you guys go out at night, does their mood change depending on how much attention they get? Red flag. Do they have any hesitation to introduce you to their significant other? Now, I know we all have our own insecurities and we all have things that we want to work on ourselves, but a lot of these traits are on a spectrum of toxic to not toxic. And if you happen to have a friend who doesn't love herself, she gonna have a hard ass time trying to love you.
When I say God has turned me into an introvert, right on time. Because baby, y'all have made maintaining friendships entirely too difficult, and I don't understand why. I really feel like it has a lot to do with boundaries. Y'all don't know how to respect boundaries. Half of y'all don't understand what boundaries are, and a lot of y'all just really not abiding by your friends' boundaries. Before last year, I used to be outside. When I lost my mom and my granny, I hit rock bottom. And within hitting rock bottom, I looked up and realized those people that was out kicking it with me every night were not my friends. They were nowhere to be found. Granted, I had people in my corner, and those are the people that now make up my village, and I'm very grateful for them. However, when I say I feel like I'm safer just being to myself within my four walls, because it's creepy. A lot of y'all out here friends with people that really don't like you in real life. They just want to take from you. They just want you to pour into them. They like what your spirit and your aura brings, and I had to understand that. Not only that, y'all don't really be giving a damn what y'all friends be having going on. Half of y'all don't even check on y'all friends until it's time to go out, until you want to plan a trip. Do you know a lot of your friends are struggling? Not just mentally. People are struggling financially. They are struggling emotionally. But y'all don't be giving a damn. When I say these friendships are based and built on bullshit. These foundations that y'all building y'all friendships on, they are so weak. And that's why these friendships cannot stand the test of time, even at this old age. Even at this grown age, at the age of 36, I find it very difficult that I have to continue to explain to people, no, I don't want to, because I said so. These are my boundaries. This is what I need you to do in order to maintain a friendship with me. And y'all still don't understand that. And what's even more weird is the fact that y'all really be thinking y'all friends acting funny when they start to evolve and understand that this is not what I want, and I want more for myself. If you don't change, you die. If you don't grow, you die. So why are you upset because your friends are making life changes in order to better the quality of how they live? My mother was a huge introvert. When I say she couldn't be bothered with nobody, she would be at home on her couch with her dogs watching TV. And she was happy and content. And I used to push her and say, "Mom, you missing out." She would say, "I'm not missing out on nothing." And I did not realize that until now. Because I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. And y'all have just made it so strange. You can't trust people now. Y'all talk about each other behind y'all backs. Y'all be envious and jealous. Y'all don't know what support is. It's weird. And I just feel like I'm safe in this introverted bubble.
People are extremely hard and mean on introverted black women because, again, we're not fitting the mold, we're not fitting the stereotypes of how we should behave and how we should conduct ourselves. I just want to go back on just things about being a black woman and being a quiet personality and being an introverted black woman. Just to go back when I'm reading comments and seeing a pattern of not feeling good enough or being called stupid and people thinking that something is wrong with you. And those things, they just stay with you for a lifetime. I can relate to that so much, and it just brings back a lot of memories and trauma. But it also has came into my adult life when it comes to careers and doing things, feeling like I had to like prove myself because I just didn't, because I was just called stupid and I felt dumb just because I was an
something that needs to be discussed when you are an introverted woman. Specifically, I'm going to speak on black women. I am an introvert. I am a black woman. And unfortunately, throughout my whole life, people have prejudged me because of that. You know, I either get called stuck up, which I'm not. I'm actually cooler than a fan. I'm very cool. So I'm either stuck up or I get called weird or crazy or whatnot. Why can't people just exist in their own personalities? I'm an introvert. I'm more shy. And that's just me. That's who I've always been. Like a week or so ago, and even other times I, share status. So what was I like in like high school? And people always say common themes. I was quiet. I was friendly, nice. So that's a running theme. That's who I've always been. That's just my personality. And, I've been targeted for that. People automatically think I'm stuck up just because I'm not, talkative or loud or, some of the stereotypes or whatever that, people put on black women. And, that's just not me, so just let people exist in their own personalities. It doesn't mean that they're stuck up or have an attitude or think that they're better. It's just some black women are introverted, and I am one of them.
I value those friendships where it's like, where we don't really have to be in the mix. Like, I love my friends. You have different friends for different things. When I want to go to the club, like, we can do that. However, there are times where it's like, I don't want to do that. I'm tired. Like, I don't want to go to the club all the time. Like, I'm thinking about, okay, the time. I gotta wear heels. Like, my feet hurt. Like, people want to be bumping. People are musty. Like, people are trying to wear natural deodorant. Like, what? I don't want to do all that. Like, I just want to do, like, a cute little brunch. Do you want to go run to Target, Home Goods? Do you want to go to the bookstore? Let's get the new Dr. Joy friendship book. Stuff like that. I don't know. Do you guys feel what I'm saying? Or I'm just a grandma. I think I might just be a grandma too. But, and it's also like for relationships as well. Like, I want to do things. Like, I want to be like out and do things. But then there's also times like, I want to take a nap. Do you want to take a nap with me? Do you want to come over and take a nap with me? Only from a man, not you randoms. But like, do you feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Black women have learned to exert themselves so much to like friendships, families, men, etc., that they become so drained. And sometimes they might not even mean to take out their frustration on you, but it's just like you're the caring person, you're whatever. And so it just happens. So I would say that personally, I feel like people are attracted to me, whether it be like friendship, neighbors. Like if I go to the gym, a lot of times people want to get to know me, and that's fine. I don't personally feel like it's hard to make friends. I feel like places you frequent often, if people feel connected to your energy, it happens. And I honestly do feel like a lot of older people, I say middle age because I'm about to be 35, want to make friendships and generally desire having a support system. So I don't think it's necessarily the hardest thing. I do think like where you live, the type of culture you have, and the type of personality and energy you bring can make it easier. You have to be willing to sustain friendships and meet people halfway. Like for me, I've learned I'm not a night person, so I'm probably not going to plan an event being out at night with you. And so a lot of these concerts, if I know I'm not even going to be able to stay up, I'm probably not going to go. If I know this musician isn't going to be on time, I'm not going to waste my time and money. So I've learned to just value my time, my energy, and just say no to things I can do. Can I hit you up with a brunch? Yes. Could we go to the arcade or something, like a cool place, a bookstore? We can do that. Can I go to your event and support you generally? Yes. Can I show up at your party, give you a gift, stay for an hour or two and leave because I know I don't like being out at night? I would do that. And if you don't like that I do that, then don't invite me, or maybe we can't be friends on a certain level. You might be my text friend. You might be my email, my phone friend. But just learning how friendship is and what people expect of you, I think is important. And I think the older I've gotten, I've learned to just be better at, again, communication and boundaries. So what are your thoughts about like friendship in your 30s or as an adult? If you're watching this video, let me know down below. And thank you so much for listening to Books and Looks TV. I'll see y'all next time.